You ever wonder why some people walk into a room and instantly command both warmth and respect? It's not luck, it's not popularity, it's presence. The kind of presence that makes others feel seen, heard, and valued without trying too hard. Today, we're diving into what it really takes to make people instantly like and respect you. Not by faking it, not by forcing it, but by showing up as your most grounded and confident self. The first impression you make on people is rarely about the words that come out of your mouth. It's about the feeling you create when you enter their space. People sense your energy before they hear your voice, and that energy tells them who you are long before you introduce yourself. When you walk into a room with calm confidence, when your body language is relaxed but sure, when your eyes are steady and open, you instantly communicate something powerful without saying a single word. You tell people that you are safe, that you are grounded, that you are comfortable in your own skin. And that feeling, more than any sentence or smile, is what makes others naturally like and respect you. People can tell when you are trying too hard to be liked, when your actions are driven by the need to prove something, and that energy always feels off. It creates tension, a kind of invisible wall between you and them. But when your focus shifts from impressing to connecting, everything changes. You stop performing and start being present, and that presence speaks volumes. The truth is, most people are not paying attention to your clothes, your words, or even your status. They are paying attention to how they feel when they are around you. Do they feel seen or judged? Do they feel calm or anxious? Do they feel heard or dismissed? These are silent cues that shape the way people perceive you, and those cues come from your energy. When you are truly comfortable with yourself, when you are not desperate for attention or validation, people feel that calmness like a breath of fresh air. It makes them lean in instead of pull away. The kind of energy that earns respect isn't loud or demanding. It's steady and real. It doesn't need to dominate the room because it already fills it through quiet assurance. You don't have to prove your worth. You just have to embody it through the way you move, speak, and respond. That's why awareness of your body language matters more than you might think. People read your posture, your facial expressions, your gestures, and even the pauses between your words. When your shoulders are relaxed, when you maintain eye contact without staring, when you nod with genuine interest, you signal openness and trustworthiness. These small, often unconscious actions tell people you're confident without arrogance and approachable without neediness. And that combination is magnetic. People like those who make them feel at ease, and they respect those who carry themselves with quiet control. The most likable people are those who make you feel comfortable being yourself, and they can only do that because they are comfortable being themselves first. Another part of presence that shapes how others see you is emotional regulation. If your mood constantly shifts depending on who you're around, people pick up on that instability and it makes them cautious. But if you can stay centered even when the situation is uncomfortable, if you can hold your ground without becoming defensive or impatient, others see strength in that. They begin to trust that you can handle pressure without losing yourself. That kind of steadiness earns instant respect because it's rare. Most people react quickly, few respond thoughtfully. When you become that rare person who pauses before speaking, who listens before judging, and who stays calm when others get triggered, people can't help but feel drawn to you. You become the person whose presence feels like balance in a chaotic world. Even your silence speaks. When you walk into a space without the need to dominate, when you listen more than you speak, when you show that you're comfortable simply being there, your silence has weight. It tells people that you're not desperate for their attention because you already have your own approval. That's what confidence truly is, self-acceptance expressed through calm energy. And when people sense that, they not only like you, they start to respect you because they see that your worth doesn't depend on their reaction. It's not about what you wear, how loud you laugh, or how clever your words are. It's about the unspoken message that your presence sends, the message that says you know who you are and you're not trying to be anyone else. Listening is one of the most underrated skills when it comes to making people like and respect you instantly. Most people think being liked means saying all the right things, sounding smart, or finding clever ways to impress others, but that's not what truly connects you to someone. What makes people drawn to you is when they feel that you genuinely care about what they have to say. When someone talks and you give them your full attention without interrupting, without drifting into your own thoughts, without planning what you'll say next, they feel valued in your presence. The way you listen tells people how important they are to you. It tells them that their words matter, that their feelings are safe with you, and that they are seen. That kind of attention is rare in a world where everyone is waiting for their turn to speak, and it's exactly what makes someone feel an instant connection with you. True listening isn't about silence, it's about intention. When your body language shows interest, when you lean in slightly, maintain steady eye contact, and nod to show understanding, you communicate that you're not just hearing their words, you're feeling their meaning. People can sense the difference between being listened to and being truly heard. When you ask thoughtful questions that build on what they said, when you remember small details they've mentioned before, you show that you value them beyond surface conversation. This act of attentiveness makes people feel appreciated, and appreciation always leads to both likability and respect. People trust those who make them feel heard because it gives them emotional safety. It allows them to open up more, to drop their guard, and to see you as someone who actually understands rather than someone who just waits for their turn to talk. Every person you meet is fighting to feel significant. They want to know their story matters, that their emotions are valid, that someone cares enough to pay attention. When you listen with that understanding, you create a bond that words alone can't achieve. You don't have to agree with everything they say. You don't even have to fix their problems. Just being present and attentive is often enough. Respect is built when people realize you take them seriously, and likability grows when they feel emotionally connected to you. The art of listening is not passive, it's active compassion. It requires patience, empathy, and the ability to quiet your own ego long enough to focus on someone else's world. Most people are too busy crafting their next response to actually process what's being said. But when you become the person who listens to understand instead of listening to reply, you immediately stand out as someone different. Listening well also means being aware of tone and silence. Sometimes the most powerful way to show someone you care is by not filling every pause. Silence allows space for others to think, reflect, and go deeper into what they're saying. Interrupting or rushing to speak can signal impatience or disinterest. But sitting with the silence shows composure and control. It tells the other person that you're not in a hurry, that their words are worth the time. That unhurried presence earns a kind of respect that no amount of charm can replace. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel at peace, and a calm, patient listener provides exactly that feeling. The truth is, great listeners make people feel emotionally lighter. They leave conversations feeling more understood, not drained. And because you gave them that experience, they associate that feeling of relief and comfort with you. That's how emotional bonds form. People might forget the specifics of what was said, but they always remember how you made them feel. When you give someone your full attention without judgment, distraction, or pretense, you become memorable in the best possible way. Your presence becomes a place of comfort and safety. Listening is more than just a social skill. It's a reflection of emotional intelligence and self-control. It shows that you don't need to dominate the conversation to have value, that you understand influence comes not from being the loudest in the room, but from being the one who truly understands it. Confidence is not about being the loudest voice in the room or trying to prove that you're right all the time. Real confidence is quiet, steady, and deeply rooted in self-assurance. It's the calm you carry when you know who you are and don't feel the need to convince anyone else. People are drawn to that kind of presence because it feels safe and stable. When you don't chase approval or validation, others automatically begin to respect you. They sense that you're not operating from insecurity or fear, but from inner balance. True confidence doesn't announce itself, it reveals itself through composure, through the ability to stay grounded when others lose control, through the way you handle both praise and criticism with the same steady expression. That quiet kind of confidence is what instantly earns both likability and respect because it's rare and powerful at the same time. Many people mistake confidence for arrogance, but they couldn't be more different. Arrogance screams for attention. Confidence doesn't need it. Arrogance comes from insecurity. Confidence comes from self-acceptance. When you are confident, you're comfortable with silence. You don't need to fill every gap in the conversation or dominate every discussion. You listen, observe, and speak when it matters. That silence isn't weakness, it's control. It shows that you're not desperate to prove your worth because you already know it. People pick up on that energy instantly. They feel the difference between someone trying to impress and someone who is just being real. And it's that sense of authenticity that creates admiration. People respect those who are centered enough to stay calm even when others challenge them. They like those who don't compete for attention but command it naturally by being genuine. Confidence is also about emotional control. When you can stay composed under pressure, when you don't let anger, frustration, or insecurity dictate your reactions, you show strength that others instinctively respect. The ability to remain calm when things don't go your way, when you're misunderstood, or when you face criticism signals maturity and self-mastery. Most people are quick to react, quick to defend, quick to explain. But the person who pauses, who takes a breath before responding, who doesn't let emotions take over, earns admiration without even asking for it. People trust those who can stay steady when the situation gets tense because they know you won't crumble or lash out. That emotional steadiness makes others feel grounded just by being around you. It's not about pretending not to care. It's about knowing that you don't need external validation to stay secure. Another layer of confidence is self-respect. When you value yourself, you automatically behave in ways that make others value you too. You don't over-explain your decisions. You don't beg for acceptance. You don't tolerate disrespect. Your boundaries become clear, not because you're defensive, but because you understand your worth. People respect that. They might test it at first, but they'll always come to recognize it as strength. Confidence isn't arrogance or dominance. It's quiet dignity. It's the power to walk away when something doesn't align with your values without resentment or hostility. When others see that you can stand alone, that you're not desperate for approval, they start to admire you because it's something they subconsciously wish they had too. True confidence also shows in how you treat others. When you're secure in yourself, you don't need to put anyone down to feel higher. You can appreciate someone else's strengths without feeling threatened. You can give compliments without expecting anything in return. You can admit when you're wrong without feeling small. That humility wrapped in strength is what makes confident people magnetic. They don't need to prove superiority because they know their value isn't dependent on comparison. People naturally respect someone who can stay kind in power and composed in conflict. Confidence isn't loud, it's grounded. It's the quiet certainty that no matter what room you walk into, no matter who's watching, you don't have to perform to be accepted. You just have to be present as yourself. Boundaries are the invisible lines that protect your peace, define your self-respect, and determine how others treat you. They are not walls built to keep people out. They are guidelines that show others where respect begins. When you have no boundaries, people may like you because you always say yes, because you always make them comfortable, but they won't truly respect you. Being kind without boundaries turns into being used, and being available all the time turns into being taken for granted. Boundaries are not about rejection or confrontation. They are about clarity. When you set limits calmly and consistently, you teach others that your time, energy, and emotions have value. And when people see that you value yourself, they start to value you too. Boundaries are not about pushing others away. They are about bringing healthier balance into every interaction you have. Many people avoid setting boundaries because they fear losing approval. They think saying no will make others dislike them or view them as selfish. But in reality, the opposite is true. People might resist your boundaries at first, especially if they have benefited from you having none. But over time, they come to respect you more for it because they see that you are grounded in self-respect. Saying yes to everything creates burnout and resentment, while saying no with confidence creates peace and power. A boundary is not a punishment, it's protection. It's how you maintain control over your own well-being instead of giving it away to everyone else's demands. People are drawn to those who have the strength to stand firm without being harsh. That calm firmness earns respect because it communicates that you know who you are and what you will or will not allow. Boundaries also make your kindness more genuine. When you give your time, your energy, or your care freely, not out of obligation or guilt, it becomes more meaningful. People can tell the difference between someone who helps because they truly want to and someone who helps because they feel they have to. The first inspires respect, the second invites manipulation. When you set boundaries, you stop giving from a place of emptiness. You give from a place of choice. That choice is what keeps your relationships balanced and healthy. It prevents resentment from building up and teaches others that your generosity comes from strength, not weakness. And the people who truly care about you will never be offended by your boundaries. They will be grateful for them because they bring clarity and honesty into the relationship. Having boundaries also shapes the way others perceive your authority and confidence. Whether in work, friendships, or family, people take cues from how you carry yourself. If you allow constant interruptions, disrespect, or overstepping, others will assume it's acceptable. But when you respond with calm firmness, without anger or apology, you send a message that your time and emotions are valuable. That consistency makes people respect your presence even more. Boundaries also protect your emotional energy from being drained by people who take without giving back. When you learn to say no, you create space for the right connections to grow, those built on mutual respect instead of dependency or guilt. You begin to attract people who appreciate your strength instead of exploiting your softness. The beauty of boundaries is that they create freedom. They allow you to interact with others without fear of losing yourself in the process. You no longer say yes out of pressure or remain silent to keep the peace. You start showing up authentically because you're not afraid of someone's reaction to your limits. That authenticity makes you more likable because people can feel that your presence is honest. They may not always agree with your boundaries, but they can't ignore the confidence they represent. Boundaries are what separate those who are merely liked from those who are respected. You don't have to shout them, defend them, or over-explain them. You simply live by them. And that quiet consistency speaks louder than any speech about self-worth ever could. Consistency is the foundation on which real trust, respect, and likability are built. People might be drawn to charm or confidence at first, but what makes them stay, what makes them truly believe in you, is consistency. It's about showing up the same way in every situation, no matter who is watching. When your actions align with your words, people know where they stand with you. They don't have to guess your intentions or wonder if you'll change based on convenience or mood. That reliability creates safety, and safety is what allows relationships to grow. People respect consistency because it represents discipline and integrity. It shows that you don't just act right when others are looking. You live right because it's who you are. Being consistent isn't about being perfect. It's about being dependable in a world that changes every day. Every small action you take communicates something about your character. If you treat everyone with kindness, from the most powerful person in the room to the one who gets overlooked, people notice. They see that your respect isn't conditional, that your humility isn't selective. And that earns admiration faster than any performance of confidence ever could. Consistency in how you treat people reveals authenticity. When others realize that your behavior doesn't shift based on what they can do for you, they begin to trust that your intentions are genuine. That kind of steadiness is rare because most people adjust their energy depending on who's around. But when you remain the same, calm, kind, and composed, it sends a quiet message of strength. People are drawn to those who are predictable in character because it means they can rely on you emotionally, professionally, and personally. Consistency also shows in how you handle challenges. When things go wrong, when plans fail, or when others criticize you, your reaction defines your credibility. Anyone can stay positive when life is easy, but true consistency is proven in adversity. When you keep your composure, when you refuse to let anger or fear take over, people see emotional maturity in you. They respect those who can lead themselves before trying to lead anyone else. It's that steady nature, the ability to remain calm and fair, even in chaos, that sets you apart. You don't need to make grand promises or bold declarations. Your behavior speaks for itself. When people see that you mean what you say and you follow through even when it's inconvenient, they begin to trust you deeply. Trust built on consistency is stronger than any relationship built on excitement or charm. Consistency doesn't mean never changing or growing. It means being dependable in your principles while still evolving. It's about keeping your values intact as you improve yourself. People respect those who can grow without losing their foundation. They admire those who remain humble after success, who remain kind after rejection, and who remain honest even when lying might be easier. That steadiness is what separates pretenders from genuine leaders. The world is full of people who start strong and fade when things get hard. But those who stay true to their word, who keep showing up with the same integrity day after day, earn long-term admiration. Consistency doesn't happen by accident. It's a choice repeated until it becomes part of who you are. When you become a consistent person, people naturally gravitate toward you because they know what to expect. You become the person whose presence feels stable in a world that's unpredictable. You build credibility without needing to chase it because your actions speak louder than your explanations. Consistency makes your kindness believable, your confidence trustworthy, and your boundaries respected. It ties everything together, your energy, your listening, your confidence, your limits, and turns them into a character that others rely on. People might forget your words, they might forget the details of your success, but they will always remember that you were steady, you were real, you were someone whose actions matched their character no matter what changed around you.